Today we went and saw The Conjuring.
Yes.
Which is a new horror film of 2013.
Directed by, damn it, I was so determined, James Wan. James Wan.
Yes. No matter what his name is, very good director. One of the biggest surprises of 2013, because in mine and our opinion, it was actually really good.
I had high expectations and you had low expectations.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I hadn't even seen the trailer.
But they were both met, if that makes sense.
And
they were superseded.
And it didn't, disappoint me in any way. And I'm so used to going to the cinema, seeing a horror film, getting ready, and just is that it? But I was on the edge of my seat constantly, and I think the way it's filmed, where you've always got something in the corner, like a mirror or a dark corner,
the whole way through it, you just, oh.
You don't know what to expect. And that
not at all.
Hands were sweating, swearing was going on in the cinema.
I didn't look at the screen for the majority of the film. I'm not going to lie, I didn't.
In a way, it kind of reminded me of Women in Black, though it was quite jumpy.
Yeah, a little bit, actually.
In my opinion, it's not in-your-face scary. It was how creepy and kind of sinister and mysterious it was.
It's because they do little things the whole way through it, so you kind of, by the time you're ready to jump, you think it's going to be something little again, and then it's not. That makes sense?
It wasn't slow at all.
No, as soon as it started, it was terrifying. And if you don't like dummies, don't watch it.
It's not a big part, but
it's in there enough.
Yeah.
Definitely in there enough.
I thought getting a bit boring here, not just saying about the camera work, the actors were really good as well.
The kids were really good, the little actors.
Because you've got old faces, if you're more into older films, then you'll know some of the people, but you've also got a lot of fresh faces, so it's nice to see someone different, not your typical Brad Pitt, George Clooney in your face all the time. But it's based on a true story, which makes it
really creepy
enough. And we looked some of it up
even
as well.
The sub-stories in it.
Yeah.
That are nothing to do with the Warren family, not Warren family, is it?
Yeah.
Are real.
And it's definitely going to stick in my head for a very long time.
I'm not sleeping with the light off for a long time.
Yeah. We're not
wimps.
Yeah, we're not your traditional girls oh my god, that made me jump, I'm terrified. Yeah. We both love our horror films excessively, but this one really, I haven't been that scared since Sinister, and no one else finds Sinister scary, but that really freaked me out. But it was...
And also, the thing with it is there's no, a lot of the... I don't know how to say it without giving too many spoilers away. A lot of the ghosts died in really, vicious, tragic ways, but there's no gore.
Yeah,
and I think if they'd added gore,
yeah,
it wouldn't have been scary. But because they don't really show you bodies or full bodies,
a lot of it's left to the imagination. You see certain things that you're that's not right. But when you don't see all of it, your mind kind of takes you away, and you're just imagining so much worse than it is, which you kind of freak yourself out just as much as the film does.
I freaked myself out. The man behind me coughed and I nearly wet myself. I've got this thing about going to the cinema now. Ever since I saw Scream, I like to be on an aisle, away from people, because I honestly think the man behind me is going to knife me. Something's going to jump off the screen and I'm just going to get a knife in my back. Well, and there's going to be a sequel, which is exciting.
Yes. Slightly worried it may get ruined.
I don't think it will, because it's... Are
they going to go off and do we know if there's another sub-story, or are they going to carry on with this one?
I don't know. But personally, where Ed and Lorraine not Warren.
Yeah.
Why do I keep getting that wrong? Where Ed and Lorraine Warren were two real people and they actually met up with the producers, and where this film took 20 years to make, I think they're just going to use another one of Ed and Lorraine's stories. Or they're going to continue this one.
Yeah. I'd still watch that.
But I don't know if this one's going to be based on a true story.
Yeah, it might be. I reckon it's because this has got quite good box office.
Like Insidious.
Yeah. That's a terrible film.
Well.
Which actually has the same guy in it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's the same guy. Dude that was in Watchmen.
The girl, Lorraine, who is Vera
Famine. Yeah, Famina. Fam. She was the woman in The Orphan. The mother, not
Vera
the orphan.
Famiga. Yeah. Famiga.
For you Twilight fans.
Oh, yes.
The little girl that played Renesmee is in it. And I know a few guys are going to go, oh. But she did really well.
No, all the little kids were amazing.
I couldn't even freak out that well, like, for a film.
No, I couldn't.
And I'm really over dramatic.
Yeah.
And, yeah, you were.
There were
Yeah,
some bits that could have been better.
And it's basically, yeah, some of the effects.
I want to say it was a low budget film, but where it took 20 years to make, I don't think it was a low budget film at all. But some of the effects were a little
in my
Halloweeny and
in my personal opinion, the effects were very simple and not a lot of thought was put into it, but it kind of saved it for me because more of the thought was put into the storyline, and you can tell that. And it was brilliant. Absolutely.
I love it. We started saying the negatives and we ended with it was brilliant.
Well, yeah, because there's always negatives in a film, but it's like I said, it consistently saved itself. It consistently had me like, shit.
10 minutes in, I was like, I don't like this. I want to leave. I'm terrified.
It was like.
About 20 minutes in, I thought they'd killed it. There was a part, and I was like, that doesn't look good. You've killed it.
Yeah.
And then the same part happened again, and I shut myself.
And there's not a lot you can say without giving it away, because you have to go and see it yourself.
Yeah.
As it's, it's full of possession, tragic stories, creepy characters, creepy settings.
The whole way through, you're like, I understand what's going on, and then
something happens,
and you're like, wait, what?
So yeah, it's a film you're never bored. Like,
No.
And so some of the stuff, is a little bit predictable, but then they then shock you.
No, some of it is predictable, but then you think you've predicted it and you really haven't.
Yeah, but I mean, like, stuff like doors opening, you predict that's going to happen, but then they hit you with something you're not going to predict, so you don't have time to think about it.
Narrative-wise, the whole way through, you're like, it's this thing. I know what it is, and then they're kind of like, actually, there's this one as well, and there's this ghost as well.
I think the narrative was good, but I don't think it was that kind of twisty and turny.
I thought it was, in places.
It did have its twists. I'm not going to say it was some parts I weren't shocked, but it's definitely nothing was thrown in your face. There's only so many times we can say it got us on the edge of the seat. It was filmed brilliantly. It was acted well. You need to go and see it for yourself. I think out of 10, well, I rated it personally, in my opinion, 8.5.
I'd say if you were going films in general, it's an 8.5. If you were going for horror films this year, it'd be a 9.
I'd still stick with my 8.5.
Because I haven't seen, I'm just comparing it to other horrors I've seen, and the only other Purge wasn't a horror at all. I don't know why I said that.
Psychological thriller.
What other horrors have come out this year that have been like?
I don't know, because I instantly, when people talk about horror films in cinema, I instantly think of Sinister, because that really got to me, and that was last year. So that's what I'm saying. That's why it was such a big surprise, because it came out before Halloween, and it just kind of, here you go, here's a horror film, not a big deal. I don't see it that often, and it was bloody.
It was amazing. You can tell it's had 20 years of thought put in it.
Yeah, so it didn't take 20 years to make it. Took the guy,
20 years
14 to 20 years to try and get a deal for somebody to make it. So
and he got
people
some
wanted
deals
this
that
film
fell
to be
through
made.
and everything. So he must have loved this story.
So I feel like if that guy can spend 20 years of his life making that effort to get this film made, then you can make the effort
2 for 1 Wednesdays.
Go into the cinema and watch it.
Unless you're not on Orange, in which case you're a bit screwed.
Still go see it.
Still go see it.
It's not that much money. Like we said, go and see it. Give us your opinions, your ratings. Tell us if we're wrong.
Don't tell us if we're wrong.
Tell us if we're right, and you agree. If you agree, we like you.
If you don't agree, then I may have to cry, because I don't.
I reckon if people don't agree, then they're actually braver than we are.
Probably.
I reckon even if it doesn't scare you, it's still a film you need to see, in general.
I think it's quite psychological in a little way. Not like.
Yeah.
Just when all of the characters, even the characters you don't see, have a backstory.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably getting. I feel like it was a triumph for horror, just the genre in general.
I think horror needed a good film to come out.
I reckon this is giving it a push.
We don't need any more Final Destinations.
We do.
They can't say it's the final destination and then bring out another one. If they hadn't done that, it would annoy me.
I still love the film. They're terrible, but I love them.
So you'll probably get a review of Final Destination soon, with me the whole way through it going, that happened, that happened.
And me going,
yeah, I don't do gore very well. She does. Yeah, but...
I love that. Give me blood and guts, I'm fine. Give me a creepy shadow that opens a door and I'm like...
Yeah, but you can't watch horror films. Not horror films. Like, you can watch gory films and I'm like, ugh. But I don't cry in the cinema as much as you do.
Yeah, but I cry. I'm proud to say I cry in the cinema because I get so
I just have no emotions.
in depth with the film, and I just I put myself in it, and I become friends with the characters. So when something tragic happens or when something amazing happens, I get so happy or sad that I cry. And
I'm just not emotive.
I don't care. People are like, ha, you cry at films, and I'm like, so.
Yeah, but I can't believe you didn't cry at Titanic.
I didn't cry at Titanic. I have cried at Titanic, but I didn't cry the first time I saw Titanic.
Or there was one film as a kid that always used to make me cry, actually. It was about Jack Russell. My Dog Skip. That film makes me cry now if I watch it. Because it is so subtle, it's more realistic.
My legs have gone dead.
And that is it.
Subscribe. Subscribe. Comment.
This is our first film review video. There will be loads. Some with me.
And I think they can tell.
Some with her. Some with both of us. And yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, tweet us individually.
Yes.
And we will probably make a Twitter for the whole channel. But tweet us any reviews you want. We will be seeing Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. I think that's what it's called tomorrow. Someone's very excited. And so we will probably have a review of that as well, which will probably be a bit better because now we know what we're doing.
I'll probably be shouting at you with excitement.
She'll be screaming. I may vlog in the cinema, even though they'll probably think I'm trying to steal the movie. But yeah.
Throw it out the cinema. They'll go, excuse me, and you go, someone's trying to stop me.
Oh God, don't. So tomorrow, actually, not Wednesday. Tomorrow we're seeing Percy Jackson.
So until then, bye-bye.
Yes. Just a tiny bit.
Oh, it makes my life more interesting.
You, halfway through the film, and I wasn't looking, you just went, ah, to me. That's not funny. That's uncalled for.
Hey, you're sitting there worrying about the man behind you. I'd worry about the girl next to you.
I honestly do think I'm going to get stabbed in cinema one day. Turning into an...
If that actually happens, I'm going to like be freaking out. I'm going to make a YouTube video and my best friend was psychic.
Vlogging it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else
It'd be an awkward vlog, wouldn't it?
Trying to think what else we can say about it.
Which is what I like.
But if you compare it to, like, I'm trying to think of another horror film where the whole way through it you're like... When we watched a horror film the other day and I was like, it's this. You're like, how do you do that at the beginning of a film?
I don't know, but it bugs me.
Yeah. And I didn't do that with this film. Normally 10 minutes into a film I turn around to her and I'm like, he's killing everyone.
Yeah.
And then for the rest of the film all I get is this glare where it's like, you've killed the narrative. Thanks, Joe. But everyone likes popcorn. I'm going to get comments now saying, actually, I hate popcorn.
Well, you know, the film was filmed really, really well. This is pretty shit.
I would give it an 8 out of 10. I'm just going to keep nattering and by the time I edit it's going to be amazing. Why do I need to start learning to sit like this?